Thank you. No, I'm at the gym. That was hard. It's Olympic weightlifting, Heather. And thanks for stopping by, Martin. This right here is 90 kilos, so 198 pounds. Do some power snatches now. So those were no hook, no contact muscle snatches. It's a fun exercise. I'm gonna throw the wrist wraps on and knee wraps on. Do some powers. I don't know how heavy I'll go with them today, but push them up a little bit. Anabolic burps. Key. There was someone that was just sitting out on the far side in the car. I knocked on a window. It was weird. They just left. But I didn't recognize the person. I'm also blind when I lift because I don't have my glasses on. But that was weird. Not someone I want to be. I mean, the gym has a security system, so you have to go in through the door like everyone else. And if it was someone that knew me, they'd call me on the phone. But yeah, it was a little odd. It's alright though. It was weird because it's not uncommon for someone to come into the gym late, but not common for them to be knocking on the window. Yeah, that was odd. That was 90 again. Gonna do 100 now. Not the worst rep. Yeah, no text or nothing. Just happy with that rep. My tape started to slip a little bit. We're going to replace it and go 115. We're just gonna go no thumb tape, see how that works. Oh, felt pretty good. Almost lost it behind me a little bit, but we'll do at least try 120. Only one attempt though, so hold me to that. Yeah. Frustrating. Yeah, that's a green plate. Because I went from 80 and then I had to change plates to make 90 and then eventually up to this. This is 120 and I'm just going to do it again. I already said I was going to do it once, but that was too close. Too close not to try it again. And like the 115 felt good and I wasn't missing behind. And then that, just not committing enough. Not committing enough. Come on. That was my secret plan for the first rep. But I blew it and missed it. But that's enough for snatching. The second one felt so much better. Obviously, I'm making it, but just getting my lat, that's what I've noticed, is that if I really try to set my left arm and just try to maintain that flexion It keeps it closer, and then it makes the turnover more better in scientific terms. I reduce the pressing. With some serious weight, I think you're that. I think you got those. I think you make nice videos, don't you? Do you have like the, you did like the previews or like the reviews of different sessions and stuff? Like, if I remember correctly, I can't really verify it right now, but yeah, you make real good videos. If you see what I'm thinking of. What do you think, some serious weight, about the new weight classes? Yeah. Because now I'm like, this morning I was what, 236, so what's that, like 107? And so like I could cut, but I was hoping if they made new ones, they'd make a 105, bring that back, because that kind of fits me perfect. But I'm a big boy, and I want to be skinny. Trying to get big. Yeah, it's a busy time of year too. All right, overhead press time now. Look. Yeah, that was kind of my feeling with it, is they didn't change them enough to like make a difference. Like the 109, that's what I kind of did before. 110 doesn't make any difference for me really, but kind of getting rid of that. Like I feel like there should be just 10 kilogram regress or jumps or whatever, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and just keep it simple like that. But that's too simplistic, I suppose. They gotta have all the weird numbers. Really, there should be more weight classes in that like 70 to 100 range. There should be most of the weight classes, since most people weigh in that range. Really, even between 70 and 90, you could justify having extra. But people lift weights, getting to 100, it's not too unrealistic. But it's funny that it goes from 110 then super heavy. But hopefully it solves all the steroids that people keep taking. I commented on the weightlifting house video about the Kazakhs and the what's his face doing 220, and I mean just the whole team, coming in hot, rolling in hot, and talking about how whether it was bribes that they didn't pay and then started to pay, or if them going to the Olympics was too much of a price to pay. Because really, it's hard to express how little I believe that they're natural at this point. But I think someone replied and said like 220 is not that much, but guy did it for 2 singles. It looks like, what's his face? I forget his name, but I need that beef contamination. I need to know where they got their horse meat from. But I think it was horse meat. I think that's what it was. But what's his face doing 220 for 2 singles? And it's like, looking at that and then his 165, you could extrapolate that it was 95% for both of the lifts, which means that he's potentially getting ready to do 230 plus, or 230, like it's basically 95% of the world record. Antropov, yeah. It's his first Antron. But yeah, like he did that 165 snatch and super easy, and then the 220 for two singles. It looks like, I mean, I guesstimated it was 95%, and that kind of set him up. It was like 174, which is close to what he's done, and the 220 for two singles sets him up to do like 230, which I think is something that's possible for him to do, especially with how easy that 220 looked. But the thought that like they're suddenly not on stuff now, that to me is less of an interesting thing of whether people are on or not, but it's more of how are they doing it now at this point, like getting away with it, whether they're continuing to pay bribes, which is my guess, or if they're just not drug testing. I think it's kind of one of two possibilities. Because in order to save money, you have to pay for do drug tests. If you just don't drug test, um, but 100%, yeah, everyone's tested. But what I think, maybe for the Olympics, like there's more stringent drug testing. I would say it's more likely that they do a little bit more at the Olympics. But for like these worlds and stuff, I feel like they do almost none because it's just too expensive. And it saves money. And if people get popped, it makes it less interesting to watch. So it's I don't know. To me, that's the more interesting thing. Is less of like who's on, who's not, and who does the most, and blah blah blah. But it's like how are they? At least we knew back then, like everyone just paid bribes, and it wasn't a fair playing field because some people had to pay more than others, I'm sure. And if you don't have money, then you don't get to play anymore. Or in like the Greeks, where they pay for that Iranian guy to bomb out, and so you have like corruption in that regard. So to me, it's more it's how are they paying to get around it, or are they just not doing it? It's just nobody gets popped because we're not testing anyone, which at that level, I'd rather them just not test anyone, and that would truly be an even playing field. But I don't know, it's very hilarious. Like the other Kazakh team. Well, they had the one random 89 kid I've never seen before that did a 200 clean jerk, but he was lifting with the 81 who was doing all the clean jerks with straps on like a maniac. And it just, but I remember the 81 from before. He's built on a lot of muscle miraculously and got a lot stronger somehow. I don't know, just trains real hard. Trains hard with me, that's the key. They probably do doubles. I only did singles today, so that's the Chirk. But the other big boy that was behind him looks pretty short. But that 89 that did a 200, that looked like it was pretty routine. It's funny because when you think about like, not that America is like 100% clean, obviously, but when you look at like nationals and like high level competitions and what people are doing in the various weight classes, and you can extrapolate that there's a difference. It's not the technique or not training harder. I guess technically they do train harder because they they have some extra help to train harder. But when you see that like Ilya loses 40 kilograms or 50 kilograms from all his lifts when he's not on the snozzle, it's shocking. But I'm curious how Crane is training now, how he's approaching it, because he's not really tested or anything now, so there's no reason for him not to, and his numbers progressed rather rapidly back. But you could attribute that to some of the previous stuff that he's done and the muscle memory, but also you get the lifetime benefits of the substances. And it's interesting. His technique and mobility, I think, is extremely impressive for being 36. Kind of like the same thing as Lushaj doing. It's like we know it. You know why he's getting stronger or like staying lean and stuff, but like the mobility and the health of his joints is impressive. Because most people, take all that stuff, burn out by the time they're 30. And there's, Crane. Crane looks like he's got more. I don't know if he's gonna do 230. What did he say? 235 to Clarence that he wants to do. I think that's a bit out of the realm of possibility, but he could probably do like 210. All right, let's press. But I'm going to do low hang power cleans into pressing and do some workup pressing and then some overhead press and then a couple cleans, but I want to do some jerks from the rack because I suck at them. I suck at doing jerks. I wish I was accused of taking steroids more often. It's the best compliment you can get. Now we got 90. So either stop here or go up to 95. One of the two. We'll try 95. Oh, 95 now. If I fully ilia the press, I should be able to get it fine. A little push press in it. Not today. I'm gonna bump up to 100 and do push press. The push press. I can finally get that. I'll push that one back more. I'll push it forward a little bit, but it is what it is. So this one should be all right. Redo the reps. I'm gonna do a couple low hang cleans. Go up to, I should just go to 140. See what happens. Yeah. Not for the power though, just for full. I thought I'd be more sore from doing heavy cleans yesterday. My legs feel good. And doing 5x5 front squats. I said I didn't do them hard enough. My legs feel good. I got the hook grip wraps, not his light ones or the super heavy ones, the like medium ones. I'm really liking them. They stay on a little bit better than the squat ones. The squat ones, they're really tight, which is good, but they like bench up behind my knee. And then it's just like, feels like my leg's gonna fall off. All right. We will go to 140. haven't done a low hang for a while. But it felt actually really easy. It was kind of weird. We'll try 155. $155. I believe my best ever in this move is 160. I'm not exactly sure though. It's 155 or 160, but I feel like I've done 160 before. But 155 will be really good, especially after doing heavy cleans yesterday. So, we'll see how it goes. Try it one more time. I just gotta finish a little better. Plus 15 is a pretty big, 15 kg is a pretty big jump. Let me look at that. That was so close. Oh. We're gonna go to 158. We'll throw little baby plates on. Just gotta be confident to rip under it. crashed on me a bit. We went up. It was a lot. Which I feel like if I start doing them more, like 150, if I did 160, I'm like 99% sure. So I mean, that's obviously, right under that. And, obviously fell hard, but for not doing it for a very long time and doing heavy stuff yesterday tells me I might have more. But Rap's pinching my knee. Gonna do some jerks now. Leg jerks. When I do a lot of jerks from the rack, a lot of push presses and rack jerks is when my clean jerks are always the best, because cleans usually don't limit me unless I mess with the technique. But most of the time, if I get hyped up, the clean's gonna be easy. The jerk is not. But also I've done rack jerks a little bit too, so I'm excited to do some of those today. We'll see how they feel. Whew. Ooh, anabolic burps. That is the key. But for me, the goal with these is at least get to 140. If I can do a little bit more, like 150, that would be good. But I haven't done them in a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't feel good, or 140, was difficult. But we'll work up to that, do 70. Honestly, probably just go right to 120 and then right to 140. Make it simple jumps like that. Those big jumps aren't hurt in the jerk for the lightweights. But I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting. have these, and then some snatch pulls, and then I'm gonna be cooked. Hopefully this one goes well. We'll try 150, but I'm not gonna try to jump to 155. It'd be a little much. This would be a good point. Good weight to really get. I mean, 140 I'm already happy with. But as I get back to doing more jerks from the rack, on a regular basis, getting to 150 will be good in general. So just gotta be confident. 140 was definitely indicative that I can do 150. I just have to be confident, even if it feels heavy. But gotta be able to jerk more from the rack if I'm gonna clean and jerk more. Or at least make it easier. Make it easier to do them from the floor. Alright. 150. Not there yet. Ugh. Man, it sucks. We're gonna give it one more try though. Said drive hard with my legs. And be confident. Be confident. gonna do 55. I'm gonna face this way, make it a little bit easier for me. I will typically walk jerks from the rack out forward. So we will give 155 a crack and be confident with it. Come on. Not today. No more left. That's right though. And it gives me a benchmark from which to work from. Like 150 is the current goal to get to, and I was a pretty close attempt. 155 obviously was not, but as I get stronger and on days where I'm not fatigued from other lifts, maybe I'll push it harder, but just continually work up to 140 plus, and then it'll start to carry over for the main lift. But honestly, not bad to even be confident enough to try 55. So with my last block of training, focused so much on squats, I wasn't really doing many derivatives of the main lifts. So I didn't necessarily intentionally get away from them, but just did less of them. So let's focus on getting my shoulder right and lots of back squats. And yeah, definitely didn't feel like I had any leg drive, any legs left, which is actually a good thing. It means I actually used my legs yesterday. Makes me confused why I was able to clean well again today. But sometimes some lifts just go well. I already pulls at 120. And do 4 sets of 3 there. I'll probably do them as a cluster since pulls are easy. But my mid back is quite sore, which is interesting. Makes sense from the front squats and everything I did yesterday. But first we go right to 120. Behind the legs. But really productive session. Quite happy with me. I was just surprised the low hang cleans because I haven't done them in a while. So that was more of a shock than anything. But yeah, doing the triple with the push press, snatching the 120 against the overhead squat. But you can kind of always do those if I snatch it. The pulls would be easy. So we'll do them as four clusters, I guess. But should be pretty easy. Pretty easy. Dos done, dos más. One more. This weightlifter. Hey, what's up, Reed? You got the tail end. I did a lot of heavy lifting today, actually. Oh, burped a lot too. Big keys. Oh, but kind of gassed. I had four by three pulls, but did them like a cluster. But hope you had a good week, Reed. I'm gonna start taking these weights off. Yeah, I've been here 6 straight days. It was in the teens most days this week, and I think right now it's like in the mid-30s. So if I want to have like weightlifting good training, then I have to come here. Which, I mean, it's nice to come to the gym anyway. So then I don't have to fight the cold, and destroy my hands. But yeah, like during the week it was like 15 degrees, so it wouldn't matter what the situation was. That and I train harder when I come here. Or at least I do more, I should say. 'Cause I'll still do a lot at the house, but when I drive 30 minutes to get here, and then I have to get my money's worth from the gas. Week was really good. Started doing baseball stuff, like hitting off the tee, which is hilarious. To try to teach kids that, and you can immediately tell kids that are, have played baseball, and kids who don't know how to hold a baseball bat at all. So it was pretty hilarious, but I wasn't hit by any bats. No kids were hit by any swings or anything. So I accomplished both of those goals. But I had to be a little mean. So you had like a line of tees for one of the stations where they're hitting, and then the other group is fielding, and they're hitting like a dodgeball type thing. So they can smack it as hard as they can. And occasionally kids just dive in front of where all the everyone's hitting from the tees, and thankfully they all had to swing at the same time when I told them. So it wasn't just random swings happening, because I didn't want to get hit. I didn't want them to hit anyone, but a couple of kids that cannot really connect the dots that running in front of people that have a baseball bat and a tee is not a smart choice to do. But I mean, when they were kindergartner, that was the one boy I had. Kindergartner did it like 3 times, and he understood what not to do, but he just couldn't connect the dots before he did it. It was thankfully he didn't get hurt or anything, so that's the good thing. But yeah, it was fun to do that stuff, and because I've tried a little bit of baseball stuff before, but it's hard to that's one of the activities that's hard to do. It's obviously you're hitting stuff, and it's hard to scale it from little kids to big kids in an age appropriate way to where like the big kids will enjoy it. It's easier with the younger ones because it can be very simple. They don't have experience swinging a bat at all, so it's all new to them, and they don't hit it as hard, so it's not it's not as dangerous. But I was very concerned that I was just going to get just whacked. We were using like plastic bats, but kids can swing decently hard, and I didn't want to get smacked or poked in the eye or something. But yeah, with the kindergartners, it's like getting them to swing isn't difficult. They all want to swing, but the safety part is what I had to be really strict about. But it's fun because I'm gonna do like baseball stuff this week with the single classes. I have 2 more days with just one class, and then with the double classes go to like volleyball stuff, and then when we have single classes again before winter break, do another baseball thing, and then go back to volleyball stuff. Because with a bigger, with 45, 40 or 45 kids in the gym at once, doing volleyball stuff is obviously a lot more tenable, and there's a lot more potential space to do those things. The baseball stuff, I need to have as much extra space as I can. So 2 more days of those, and then 4 days of like volleyball slash probably honestly volleyball stuff, and then baseball stuff again, and then like pickleball paddles. So I got some stuff to do with those, just to introduce that a little bit. But it's fun because I have it all planned, and it's nice to have things planned out and to have it like know that it's going to work. It's a nice thing with this kind of gray band that I have, because they're going to enjoy most things that they do, and just to kind of make sure that it's planned in a way where as many kids are active as possible, and planning for safety and stuff. But actual like activities are not hard to get kids to have fun to do. They enjoy most things, which is nice. That's why I'm able to try to do baseball stuff or whatever, because any kids are going to like all the stuff that they're doing. So that part is nice. We have 2 more weeks until winter break. So the 20th is when our winter break starts. And so I might go heavy on that day, because we still have school that day, but that's when the break starts. And the next day I'm driving back up north to have Christmas dinner. And so once on the 21st, so I probably won't train that day. Like a 99% chance I won't. But the Sunday, that's when I might actually go to Rubber City. Depends on how well or how much I want to do on that Friday. Like if I go completely berserk and feel really good and just go super heavy and everything, I probably won't worry about trying to do anything on Sunday, or at least come back home to do stuff like normal. But if I'm like not feeling the best on Friday, then I might treat that as a light day, because then Sunday or Saturday will be off, and then Sunday go to the Rubber City and then train hard there. So I haven't gone there in a couple of years at this point, and I've already went to the Columbus place, so explore my world a little bit, travel and go to another gym. But yeah, it should be either way. Whether I end up training here, and I could also go to the RTS. Like there's a lot of options for that Sunday. So that Friday, I'm not like 100% like I'm gonna go crazy, but at least trying to set myself up for that. So I've kind of moved things around a little bit in my brain for how I want to progress to that point, or at least the lifts I want to do, building up to that, and see if I can do, I don't know, I don't really have a specific number that I'm trying to chase on that day, just at least have the opportunity to, go decently heavy. But yeah, I was really surprised yesterday with that clean. I wasn't, I feel like I'll say this probably a million times, but I wasn't planning on going that heavy. But I tried a double 155, and I missed the second rep on it because I wanted to. It was actually someone at the gym, and I forget his name, but he's a weightlifter, and he asked me, one day if I ever did like clean specific workouts, and mostly I don't really, because I go too heavy with them as far as potentially getting hurt. But I heard something. But what you may call it, with clean specific workouts, like I said, I go too heavy with them. But I'm not going through all that now, so then. But I figured doing some clean specific stuff would be good, just to build or just work on technique in this kind of more general block, since I'm focused more on weightlifting stuff now than just doing a lot of squats, which I'm still doing quite a bit, but it's not the main focus of my training. But when I missed the second rep of the 155, I was like, I'm gonna just do a single at 163, because I knew that that's a good clean that I haven't done. I haven't done 163 in a while, because I've tried 160 clean jerks multiple times and made it a couple times. And then the last time I cleaned more than 163 was at I think my competition, so all the way back in May or whatever. And once I did the 163, I caught the bounce, and it was actually easy. It was shockingly easy. So I knew I had more, and my first thought was 170, and I was like, we can just do 171. Who's gonna know? My body won't know. But yeah, it crashed on me a bit. But I haven't done 170 in a while. I think the last time I went to 170 or above is when I hurt my hip, trying to do 176, and broke myself. But based on how that felt, seeing how I haven't done heavy cleans in a while, and I'm still training, like I'm doing squats and stuff, and they haven't, like my front squats aren't super heavy right now. Definitely think that next year might be the year I could do 180, which would be really, really dope. I'm not like if I never did, it's not the end of the world, because I more want to do heavy clean jerks, not just cleans. But if I can get up to 175 again, and then 175 plus, that'd be really good, because 175 is still my PR, and it was like an existentially difficult lift. So it's not one that I'm necessarily ready to do. But if I can make the 170s start to feel easy, and potentially like double like 165 or something, then that would be it'd be a good weight to get back up to. But the bigger focus for me needs to be jerks, because I can clean anything I need to. But if I want to be able to attempt a 170 clean jerk, I also need the clean to be pretty easy. So I have to balance those two things. So it's like try to do jerks out of the rack today, and did 140, then missed 150, and clarked 155. So like obviously I'm way below as far as jerks go, but I'm worse at jerks. And I also have, just like I've done a lot of cleans because of clean jerks, but I haven't done jerks out of the rack in a while, so I'm still not in practice of doing those, or at least the volume of doing those that I need to be good at them. But I think my best out of the rack is 165 still. behind the neck and in front. It's the same, which is weird. But if I can get up to 170 out of the rack, that'd be really dope. It seems insurmountable at this point, but I try to just be objective with the numbers, because when I'm like, yeah, 180, and I'm like, that's so much, when you think in pounds, like that's so much weight, but I try to look at like, right, I did 171 and it was difficult, but if, my front squat goes up, then I can do more. And just thinking kilos, because kilos aren't as heavy as pounds. in up here, they don't weigh the same in my brain. That's how, I think that's one reason I've been able to push my deadlift up, because I'm like, it's just 306. I don't even know what that is. I'm able to disassociate from that number, even though like I know exactly what it actually is. Just disassociate from it. Like, it's just kilos. It doesn't weigh as much. Because when I think in pounds, it's a lot heavier in my brain. And I don't know if that's true of most American weightlifters, or just people who don't generally think in kilos for most things. But it's easier to lift in kilos for me. It's mentally easier to think in smaller numbers. I think that's literally all it is my little monkey brain is like, little number, little weight is no problem. Big number, big scary weight, and I can't handle that. But how was your week, Reed? I saw you were lifting, you're trying 120, your cleans look good with those. Honestly, your jerk was like super close on it as well. And you did what I do and just pushed it out in front of you a little bit, if I remember correctly. Also, I don't know if you watched this, watched the YouTuber, Some Serious Weight. He was here a little bit ago. I think he probably left, but we were chatting for a little bit. Well, I thought it was really cool because he's like I don't know how big his channel is, but he makes really good videos. Like, the quality of it tells me that he should have a lot, even though I don't think he does. But yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, that's big, and it's interesting with heavy cleans that it's a lot of just confidence, because you just have to be aggressive under, and that's where it feels the heaviest, is like right before you go under, and that's like where if you have any hesitation, then you miss or hurt yourself or whatever. But oh yeah, you definitely can clean 5 kilos more than what you just did. You just need to go to competition. That's the key. And then you can clean 300. It's every time I look at my cleans in competition, I'm like, man, I should just ask them to do 180 just for fun, just to clean it, because like every clean I do just looks like I just pull it so aggressively and just get everything with it's just so easy. But yeah, that's the most optimal way to do cleans. So just do a competition and just do cleans, a clean only competition. That's what I mean. Yeah, then for me, it's like getting it back. That makes sense, like finishing the extension, but also being like hyper aggressive with the elbows and like really punching them under. Because when it gets heavy, it'll crash on me a bit. But if I can get that, if I time it well, then I jump up with it quite easily. A lot of that's just being confident when it feels heavy at the top and not trying to rush underneath it as much. That's where like when Seeker Strength talks about like not pulling the clean high, to me I feel like that just would make me do cleans terribly. Because it's not necessarily like I think you need to. I think it's more of like people who are like new at weightlifting and can't or can pull it super high relative to what they can do. But for me, if I'm not thinking about like the aggression of like that finish of it, then like I wouldn't know how to even get under it really, because it's just like that finishing part, but it's like getting that last little bit back, and then I can really rip myself under. But I'll notice that, and I do it with all my snatches and cleans if I do them poorly as well. Like I can feel where I'm like not fully extended, and then I try to go under, and it's just in front or whatever it is. Happens a lot less with cleans. You get away with it a lot more with cleans, but I will notice like the 163. I was like, oh, I really popped that well, and I was really surprised, and not really sure why they went well. If it was just because I've been doing trying 160 clean jerk, so like I have the tolerance to it or not. But I was really surprised with how easy it was. But yeah, the elbows is like the big thing because I did low hand cleans today, and that's like the biggest thing with them because you can't really get as much on it with that once you're coming back up. So it's still trying to. It's like it's a weird feeling because it's like yes, you want to think your elbows under, but it's like the more aggressive you are with your finish, the harder that you can push your elbows under. Because like when I do power cleans, I can get my elbows under, but I don't finish as aggressively. I don't do them as well. But if I do full cleans, I tend to do better with that extension. I'm just bad at power cleans in general, but I don't actually know why that is. Like my best power clean ever is 147, but I've only done it once, and I haven't done anything close to that. Like I do 140, and that's really difficult. And I don't really know how people do heavy power cleans. It doesn't make any sense to me. Um, like you see, I've watched someone like in person do like 155, 160, I think. Definitely 150. I think he was doing doubles with 150, and it was like he has like football looking at that, and you're like, that's just it doesn't compute in my brain. But that's where I'm different. Where like my power clean isn't maybe as high as other people who clean the same weight as I do, but because I have good mobility and good enough speed to get under it, I can get away with not having as heavy as one. But really, it's just a speed thing, I think. Yeah, power cleans are like the worst exercise. What's weird is like power snatches don't feel as bad as power cleans, but it's odd too because like I'll power clean up to like 120, and like 120 I'm like, all right, that feels good. I go to 130, and sometimes it will just go great, and sometimes it will just destroy me. And then like sometimes I'll do 130, I'm like, all right, that was good. I caught it really high. 100% should be able to do 140, and it will just push me right down. And sometimes I'll like catch it, and it's like those pow cleans where it pushes you down, but it's odd because I just don't have that strength to hold it up in that position. But I think that's also partially my just leverages aren't as good to hold in that position for power cleans. With light weights, it doesn't really matter. But as it gets heavier, I'm slightly pitched forward, so it's just harder to I don't have like a really strong natural position to hold in that. Um, and I also don't really care about them because even when I was doing them a lot, like when I did that 147, it didn't really correlate to me doing the other lifts really well. Um, but power cleans, I mean, it's a good like practice movement. But if I don't increase it or whatever, I don't really. Same with power snatches. Like I don't worry about the actual weight I can do. Just worry about getting up to a difficult weight and then trying to do it correctly. More so for power snatches than power cleans. Power cleans I use more for like overhead press and push press, and then trying to really push them up because they are impossible. But full cleans just feel so much better too. It just feels so much easier. I start putting my grapple in. Went down the street yesterday and got some um, and power for me power snatches are very I feel like I struggle at them more in the technique than I do at like just how they feel. If I do well enough with the pull and stuff, then it's the the technique that limits me. But with like power cleans, once they get heavy, then it's just like they just don't work. They just don't work for me. But I also don't really. I'm not a fan of powers. They're just not fun to do. But they're good for the speed. That's why I'm trying to do them a little bit more. I'm less worried about the power cleans now, but trying to do power snatches more frequently, whether it's no foot power snatches or just regular power snatches. Just trying to do those for the speed component of it, and also the balance, because I think that's probably the best benefit of powers in either regard. Is not so much that you can go to a heavy weight or that you can pull them super fast. Obviously, it's good if you go heavy and you can, do them fast, but it's catching them in a position that's balanced. So, in a power clean, you can catch it in that strong position, or a power snatch, you can catch it and stop that weight because it means you're moving fast and aggressive. And that's where I get the biggest benefit from them, is not, you know, that I can increase the weight, but that I get the technical practice of them. When I hit my best snatch ever, I went on this bender of doing power snatch plus snatch, but I was doing it with straps. And so like I got really, my pull was really dependent on my straps, but I was able to, like, the snatches started to feel really good because I was being hyper aggressive with the power snatching. But what I've learned now is like I got to do most of my snatches without straps because I overpull. Probably because I deadlift too much. I can overpull too much, and like not necessarily arm bend to where it's like a technical fault, but like just pull too aggressively off the ground where you can get away with those straps where you can't without. And so I've noticed, like, looking back at like the last year or two of my snatching, especially at the time when I was using straps like all the time for snatching, that my pull was kind of weird looking, and now it's a lot smoother. And I think that's why my technique is generally getting better. It's a encouraging thing. I just did that earlier today. I was looking back because I was going to do low hang cleans, so I was looking like what was my heaviest clean that I've done, trying to see that, and like when was the last time I did 170, which is a while ago, and then seeing what my low hang was because I was curious, because I don't really pay attention or like remember like the variations when I haven't done them in a while, especially like low hang clean or whatever. When I was looking back, I was like, oh, it was uh, it was interesting um, because it was nice to see the technical differences and how I'm pulling better from the ground, like smoother. I'm not as jerking it off the ground as hard, um, which is, especially with the snatch, is obviously good because it means it can pull better. But um, like when I was doing my snatch pulls today, and same with all my snatching, it's been interesting because like not that I'm necessarily trying to like copy what Sin Crane is doing, but I actually accidentally um, yeah, and that's the tricky part. Is like if I try to go maximum with it, then I definitely like changes my technique. If I don't, then I actually feel like it helps me. But it's like to that point where like I'm really trying to like get my hips into it or whatever, then it's like it's ruining the lift. But if I try to do it with a not a maximal weight but like just under, then it tends to be a little bit better. Like if I try to power clean 120, I get more technical practice than if I'm trying to do 140. Same with like snatch. If I try to power snatch 100, then I get like a good like technical work for the most part. But if I I'm trying to do 105 or try to go even heavier, then I'm just using the ooga booga and doing weird stuff, and then it ends up not being as correlative, or at least giving me that technical practice. But what I was thinking with my snatching, which was interesting, is I try to do the same thing with my cleans. Is I tend to get apprehensive before I do the lift, and so then I have too much tension. But one of the things I noticed with my shoulder, even though it doesn't hurt or anything now, the mobility is all there, is that I don't flex it back enough. Like I don't lock that lat in as far as my right one. And when I'm not actively thinking about that before I start to pull, like really trying to, pull my lat back and, set my lat or whatever, that side just gets left out in front. And if I really think about that as I pull, the bar stays closer and it feels like it's more in control. Like my shoulders are out in front of the bar a little bit more. And I'm like pulling it, like my lats are pulling it back a little bit, and then it's just going up and it just goes into the correct position. So I've been trying to. It's like I actually kind of realized, like I saw St. Crane, I'm like, oh, he does that all his lifts. Like his shoulders are kind of rounded forward, then he locks in, then he goes. And not that I'm, like I said, not trying to copy that because I do more of a dynamic start than he does, but trying to really focus on that mostly with my left arm and trying to like lock myself in and then use that dynamic start, and that really kind of calms me down off the floor. so I'm not as herky jerky, but also keeps it closer to my shins and makes it just smoother overall. Which is why like the other day, like I kept trying 120 or whatever because like all the weights I building up to it felt so good. It wasn't like I was feeling strong, but like the technique was so good that I was just catching everything like in such a good position. And I think the no foot power snatches was helping with that. Um, and really just lighter weights, and doing snatch pulls and stuff, I can reinforce that feeling. But I think that's definitely like a technical thing that got messed up with my shoulder because that was like when I injured it, everything was it was just rolled forward essentially. So it was hard to just get it back in general, and over months and months, probably just naturally just out a little bit more than it needs to be. Um, mhm, I can see that. And to me, it's like a no foot power is mentally easier than trying to do a power snatch because it's like I don't care how much weight I do because I know it's a more difficult lift. But yeah, it is interesting because I have no foot powered 105 and only power snatched. I've power snatched 110 like once, maybe twice, and powed 115. But that was the same thing as like when I was doing lots of power cleans and pushing that up. Like it didn't necessarily correlate. The power snatches helped more with the snatching than the power cleans helped the clean. But it was also using straps way too much and over pulling, so it ended up messing my technique. And that's where it's like I almost want to do less weight in the powers because then I'm not as aggressive with my arms, at least until like you need to be, pull it smoother off there. But yeah, no foot powers have been like my derivative of choice, and then the no foot with fulls as well. But I liked both of those, and I didn't realize like how much they were actually helping till like the snatches started to feel better. So I want to keep adding those in, and that's kind of like where my training is at now. Is still doing volume in the squats, but trying to do more practice in the weightlifting movements and just general derivatives, and trying to just get stronger in the specific movements, and to see where I stand. Kind of in theory mid-February, but who knows if I want to change things before then or not. But I think I'm set up in a good trajectory that if I can keep developing, then as the weather gets warm in the spring, I'll be able to really start to know where I'll be able to push for the competition I'll probably do in May. I still think like I'm on a good trajectory to do good numbers there. The big thing is obviously like to get stronger, but to really try to get my jerk to be a more dominant lift, and not just depend on doing a perfect clean, but just having my jerk just be as strong as it can be, which is always going to be the limiting factor for my clean jerks most likely. But yeah, if I can get up to doing 170 out of the rack, I think that will mean that I can do it off the floor. It's usually what I mean. I've done 165 out of the rack and did 166 clean and jerk. So usually, um, it's correlated pretty well. If I can do something out of the rack, and I can usually clean and jerk it, or at least get close to it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I can do out of the rack. It's definitely something I want to get better at, and just getting stronger shoulders, of course, will help. But just getting better technique, just doing lots of jerks is going to be the big key. And front squats, I haven't done those a lot in a while, but doing the 5x5s with them are really difficult. So getting better at doing, just doing more volume in those will be nice, as far as getting stronger in those positions. So I'm really bad at front squats and volume or like repetitions in them, and so I'm being more conservative with them because I have a tendency to get hurt doing front squats, whether it's my wrist or my back or something, just because of the way I'm built. I actually, like the other day I did 170, which actually I don't even know what to call it, strained my finger, I suppose, because my rack dipped down and it dipped more on this side, so then it was stretching this finger a little bit too much. So I kind of have to be smart about that. And I like the front squat 200. Um, I've done 190 last year, and then I think my best ever is like 195 or 193, but like 200 would be nice. And for me, like a front squat, as like I clean a really high percentage of what I can front squat at any given time. So if I can do a 200 clean, or I mean, if I do a 200 clean, I can probably front squat it too. But if I can front squat 200, then it will mean that I almost certainly can push up to 180 in the clean, and maybe even like 170 plus in the clean and jerk. But um, mm. it's weird because like my mobility's good. All my like working up, it's once I start to fail and I pitch forward, as you know, my back rounds or whatever when the weight's too heavy, it does it more on my left side than my right side, which is probably something to do with shoulder mobility. But it's probably more my lats and just upper body in general, and not necessarily my wrist. But I'm just never gonna be like super built well for front squats just because of my limb lengths and just leverages, but also with I lost my train of thought. But my wrists are good for them. It's more of like my form, everything else that tends to be limited by it. But doing them more will make me better at them for sure. And continuing, that's something I need to get better at doing more so is just really still trying to hammer the mobility of my shoulders. Something I've been really liking, I can actually flip here on and show you. I'll take you guys off this thing. Got this rack up here. But yeah, just hanging from that, the pull-up connection thing. Also, I can show you guys how strong the people are here. So you see, where's Rob? Oh, there he is. So you see Rob with his, 815 deadlift? And then Houston, 700 with the squat with wraps. And then Rob with a 700 raw squat. And then 800, almost 800 with at 275. He is, the gym's bonkers. And that's one of the nice things is even though, I'm one of few weightlifters here, there's not a ton of people doing weightlifting here. You're around people that are, serious about strength. And so it kind of, I don't know if it necessarily motivates you, but it just puts you in a good environment to, want to be stronger and want to lift well. And I think that's important. And it's, it's good to be strong, but it's good to be around people who are stronger than you, whether it's in the thing that you do or something different. Obviously, in a perfect world, it would be in weightlifting, but I feel like I get a good benefit being around the hogs, as they call themselves, and seeing them do bonker stuff. That's why, like, when I do a big deadlift, it's not like, oh, wow, I did, this big weight, because I watch them do the weight that I've done for reps. And like Rob yesterday, I think he did more than my max for a 5x5 on deadlift, which is just mind-blowing, because I mean a 5x5 on a deadlift is insane, but yeah, it's just cool to see that. But it's a cool environment to be in. But yeah, Reed, I need to focus on stretching my shoulders a lot and my upper back, particularly when I start to do a lot of front squats. That tends to get, like, my thoracic tends to get tight and sore, because obviously that's a part that's going to just need muscle mass or just need to build muscle. And so just trying to build those back up will take some time, but we'll get there. Next year, 180 clean, maybe a 200 front squat. We'll see. I don't want to set too many crazy goals like that, because then when you don't accomplish them, you feel sad. But I definitely think if I can stay healthy and recover and do all those things, then I'll be good to go. Because I don't plan with the new weight classes, like, I'll just be at 110. Not that I'm going to try to weigh 110, but like, I'm not going to cut down weight. If I did, then obviously those numbers would be harder to get to, as far as the 180 and the 200. But eventually maybe I'll cut down, but that will be when I'm not as serious about lifting. I'd rather continue. That's something I've been good at over the years, is just not cutting for no reason, because I'm not trying to win any competitions or win any qualify for anything, just lifting. And it's better to just kind of progressively gain weight, not too quickly, but just to kind of always be in a surplus if you can. But man, I've been live for 2 hours, so I think it's a PR for live streams. But I'm gonna head off here, go home, and I don't even know, eat some food, relax. It's my Saturday night at the bar, getting lit at the bar. But appreciate you stopping by, Reed. Hope your weekend is nice, and yeah. Maybe I probably won't go live again for chest. Maybe I'll do chest tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. But I'll see you guys later. Thanks for stopping by, Reed. Take care.